we're now ready to build the bones for our spine rig. Let's head over to our layer manager and hide the character layers so we can very easily see where these bones are going to be placed. What I'll also do is go to the snap tool and turn off snap to grid points and also vertex snap so we can just snap to pivots. Okay, now we'll head over to our left side view, open up our bone tools. Okay, activate the tool and start to snap the chain. Okay, so I'll just activate the snap tool, and again we're snapping to each helper. So starting from the bottom, just work our way up. And right click at the end. Alright, so here's our chain. Let's go ahead and check this out in the perspective. Alright, it's exactly where it needs to be. From here, what we can go ahead and do is separate these. Okay, the reason why is we're going to be connecting them in a way where we can of course get that flexibility that we need. And with them linked to one another, we're going to be limited and not necessarily be able to get the result that we want. Alright, so it's just a matter of going to each bone, okay, excluding our initial bone, and just unlinking. Go to the next, unlink. Okay, and we don't have to worry about that nub. What we'll now do is go ahead and create nubs for each of these. Later on, we'll basically be connecting these with a high IK solver, believe it or not, and that's going to allow us to get that twisting when we set that up later. So let's go ahead and create end bones or nubs for each of these chains. So starting with the root, we'll create a nub. Go to the next bone up, create a nub. Do the same for the next, and then we have one more here to create. All right, lastly, to basically finish up this chain, we can go ahead and increase our nub size so it's easier to select and attach our high IK solver to. All right, with the root selected, we'll go ahead and press page down to get to the nub, head over to our modify panel, and let's go ahead and increase this just about 0.5 units. So I'll go ahead and put in 1.5. So it's just a little bit larger. We'll go to the next bone, press page down, and do the same. Okay, we'll do the same for the next. Oh, not on the bone itself, of course. We need to press page down and do that to the nub. So we want to be very careful here. Okay, so, and again, I was about to do the same to the bone. Pay attention. Okay, there we go. All right, so again, it's going to be far easier for us to connect the high IK solvers to each chain here. Let's say we go ahead and rename them. Starting with the root, it's going to be BN underscore SPA01 for bone spine A01. Copy the name, press page down to get to the nub, paste, and this is going to be BE SPA underscore end 01. Go to the next bone that will be enveloped. 2, we'll paste. That's going to be B. Hit page down. And this is going to be BE SPB underscore end. So we'll just continue with that naming convention. It's going to be C. We'll get to the nub and rename it. Okay, just about finished. It's going to be D. Won't have to worry about recoloring this chain at all. You can if you like, but I'm actually going to leave it the color that it is. But of course, feel free to. Alright, and that leaves us with this one last bone here. And again, we want to make sure that we're labeling this right. So for these end nubs, we want to make sure that they do have the prefix BE, because later on we're going to be using a wildcard to select all of the bones with the prefix BN to quickly add to our envelope. A lot of times we feel like working quickly, but we really want to take our time just to make sure things are done right, so we don't trip over ourselves later on. Okay, so we have our bones renamed. They're separated. We can now go ahead and freeze them, which will make it easier on us to do our setup. So I'll just go ahead and select each bone here. Can start with just selecting each bone. And from there, it's just a matter of alt right clicking and choosing freeze transforms. Okay. Alright, so now that that's done, we're ready to attach our high IK solver to each. So let's say we go ahead and get started with the bottom and work our way up. Alright, so selecting the root, we'll just right click and choose high IK solver, connect that right to the nub. What's nice is that when you mouse over, you can see exactly where you're going to be connecting it to. I'm going to also turn off snap so that doesn't get in the way. Alright, so we'll go to the next bone. We run our high IK solver tool, snap to the next nub. The only one we won't need to worry about is the very end of the chain, right at the top. That's going to be directly linked to our chest control. Okay, we won't need to worry about setting up any twisting. So I actually went ahead and added it. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So again, we don't have to worry about this top chain at all. Okay, this setup is going to be far easier if we just leave it the way it is. Okay, with that, of course, we want to go ahead and rename these now. So the first one, that's of course going to be high IK underscore SPA01. Copy the name, go to the next, paste, and once we're done renaming, I'll show you how the twist is going to work. But if you're familiar with this solver, you can kind of get an idea of where we're taking this. Okay, so I believe that should be it for the renaming. So again, if we were to just pick on one of these bones, let's say this mid high IK helper, or the goal that is, if we were to select that and start to move the swivel angle, notice the twisting we're going to be able to get. So if we plug that in right, we're going to get that nice distribution that we saw that comes by default in Max's Spline IK solver. Alrighty. Well, from here, let's say we go ahead and stop the lesson. In the next lesson, we'll connect these bones to our point helpers.